Good news on the economic front and hope for those in need. That's our focus on today's edition of Jamaica Magazine. We'll break down the latest inflation data and explain what it means for you. Plus, take you inside the government's Indigent housing program and show you the real difference it's making in the lives of beneficiaries. Those and much more in store for you. I'm Adrian Atkinson. Welcome.
Jamaica's population is aging rapidly. Over 350,000, or 13.2% of Jamaicans, are senior citizens. These individuals deserve our care and respect. Very often, our senior citizens are neglected, disregarded, and disrespected. It's time to act. A special select committee of the Senate is reviewing a motion proposing the creation of an Elderly Care and Protection Act to better safeguard the rights and dignity of our senior citizens. We invite you to share your suggestions and recommendations about what should be included in this act. Send your submission in writing to Clerk to the Houses, Gordon House, 81 Duke Street, Kingston, or email clark@japarliament.gov.jm. The deadline for submissions is February 15, 2025. Let's work together to protect and create a more inclusive and supportive Jamaica for our senior citizens.
Good day, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is your JIS News for Thursday, February 6, 2025. The country has recorded a 13% decline in murders since the start of the year, when compared to the corresponding period in 2024. The data was provided at the weekly post-cabinet press briefing on Wednesday. In giving the update, Minister of Information, Senator Dr. Dana Morris-Dixon, says Jamaica continues to experience a downward trend in murders and serious crimes.
Jamaica's homicide figures since the start of this year show that the country is below its 2024 weekly average, as the murder toll now stands at 73. This is the lowest number of murders to start the year in recent times.
Still, the Information Minister says while the decline is a big feat, 73 murders is still too high, and the downward trend needs to continue. Minister Morris-Dixon asserts that the country's security apparatus is in a better position to see this done, even as she urges Jamaicans to play their part in reducing the country's crime figures.
The Police High Command has publicly said that it wants to keep the murder statistics under 1,000 in 2025. And all of Jamaica, we have to work together to ensure that we're able to meet that target and each year keep bringing that number down. And we believe that that is possible because as at February 1, all other areas of serious crimes, including shootings, injured persons, rape, robbery, and break-ins, have declined.
After nearly a decade of fiscal restructuring, Jamaica is set to achieve a debt-to-gross domestic product GDP ratio of under 70% by the end of the 2024-2025 fiscal year, March 31. Minister of Finance and the Public Service Favour Williams shared this update during a recent virtual discussion with members of the diaspora titled, Let's Connect with Ambassador Marks.
We have managed as a country to reduce our debt to GDP from the highs it got to 147%. Now we're expected to close this fiscal year at the end of March 2025 at below 70%. So coming from 147 or so to 70 in less than a decade is a remarkable achievement.
Jamaica's transition from debt restructuring to fiscal stability has positioned the country as an attractive destination for investment. Minister Williams emphasizes that international institutions have taken notice of Jamaica's progress.
International institutions have looked on Jamaica. They've looked at our debt reduction, our tax reform, our monetary stability, and they have publicly given us passing grades. And as a matter of fact, talking about passing grades, it was only last year that the rating agencies in the United States, after doing their analysis on Jamaica, raised their ratings on us. And we are just below investment grade rating. And of course, you know, we have our sights on investment grade rating.
The government is ramping up efforts to strengthen the aquaculture industry with a significant investment of over $128,000 in the Ebony Park Heart Academy. The investment, which includes state-of-the-art equipment, aims to enhance both training and production capabilities, ultimately developing a skilled workforce for the sector. The donated equipment includes scene nets, solar lights, mobile water pumps, digital scales, oxygen scales, refractometers, fish baskets, freshwater kits, cast nets, weed whackers, security cameras, and drones. 3 2.4-acre freshwater fish ponds will also undergo renovation. Minister of Agriculture, Fisheries and Mining, Floyd Green, says transforming the teaching and learning experience at the Ebony Park Heart Academy will not only strengthen the aquaculture sector, but also boost the rural economy.
Through the support that we're providing directly to Ebony Park, we will be able to train our young people and have them emerge with level 2 and level 3 certificates in freshwater fish farming. Our students are also, as a part of their program, going to be working directly with fish farmers who are already operating in nearby communities.
The Fisheries Minister was speaking at the handover ceremony held at the institution in Tollgate, Clarendon recently. Managing Director of the Heart NSTA Trust, Dr. Tanisha Ingleton, expressed her gratitude for the support, pointing out that the institution has already benefited from over $10 million in infrastructural upgrades.
This investment will help to strengthen our aquaculture training and production capabilities, including enhanced practical training.
The freshwater fish farming project is supported by the World Bank, Planning Institute of Jamaica, and the University of Technology, among other partners. 54 female small business owners who were impacted by Hurricane Beryl last year have received small grants and inputs from the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, as part of its support to the government's recovery program. The closing ceremony for the project was held last Friday. Under the intervention, beneficiaries from the parishes of Clarendon, Manchester, and St. Elizabeth received chickens, feed, irrigation, and other farm supplies. They were also provided training in disaster risk resilience, improving mental and physical health, and business and financial literacy to help improve their operations and navigate future shocks. The support was provided in partnership with the Bureau of Gender Affairs and the Jamaica Network of Rural Women Producers. Minister of Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport, Darrell Vaz, has reiterated that Jamaica currently has no formal policy on artificial intelligence. However, recommendations from the Artificial Intelligence Task Force have been submitted to Cabinet to help shape a framework in the short term. Minister Vaz made the statement in Parliament on Tuesday while responding to questions from opposition spokesman Philip Paulwell. He also clarified that AI-related matters do not fall directly within his ministry's remit.
I'm aware that recommendations from the Artificial Intelligence Task Force were shared with Cabinet, and these recommendations are intended to inform artificial intelligence policy in the short term. Consequently, in keeping with the consultation code, once the policy is at a stage for consultation, it will be shared.
The AI Task Force was established in July 2023 to conduct research into the technology. It was tasked with identifying effective strategies to mitigate risks posed by AI and deepfakes while exploring opportunities for its safe and beneficial use. And finally, the Child Diversion Branch in the Ministry of Justice's Social Justice Division is inviting persons who are interested in volunteering as mentors in its Child Diversion Program to submit their applications. The program targets children aged 12 to 17 who come into conflict with the law, providing rehabilitative services to divert them from criminal judicial proceedings. Mentors have to be upstanding citizens, 18 years or older, who are able to commit to volunteering for at least a year. Applications to become a mentor can be done via the Ministry of Justice website or by visiting any parish office across the island.
They will do a small interview so we can be sure that the program that you are coming into, you understand what it entails and you are suited for the children in the program. We also provide training for the mentors as well, so they are able to understand the requirements of mentorship.
More information on the Child Diversion Program is available on the Ministry's website or by calling toll-free 888-JUSTICE. That's 888-587-8423 or 876-906-4923-31. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Theodore Henry. Thanks for watching.
The Ministry of National Security presents Cyber Smart Conference 2025, February 11 to 12 from 9 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. at the AC Marriott Hotel under the theme Stay Safe in Cyberspace. Join leading experts and professionals to advance cybersecurity practices and build a safer cyberspace for all. Gain the knowledge and tools to address emerging threats in the digital world. To register and for more details, visit mns.gov.jm. That's the Cyber Smart Conference 2025, February 11 to 12 at the AC Marriott Hotel. See you there!
Providing housing for the indigent population is a critical component of the government's social welfare program. In our conversation recently, Minister with direct responsibility for the program, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie, outlined the goals, achievements, and ongoing efforts to address social housing for the most vulnerable. Welcome to Get the Facts, the show that gives you the latest information on important topics. I'm Adrian Atkinson. We've witnessed the emotions, the tears, the joy, and above all, the love and unity when beneficiaries receive their homes through government's Indigent housing program. Today we are joined by a very special guest, the Minister of Local Government and Community Development, the Honorable Desmond McKenzie. He's here to give us an update and share more details about the program. Minister McKenzie, welcome to the program. And of course, we've seen you at all the handing over ceremonies. What does it feel like to be handing over, not just a home, but the keys to the homes?
Well, first of all, Happy New Year and thanks for having me
Thank you very much,
program. You speak about the emotions. I became a councillor in 1977. And at that time, indigent housing were mere assistance. So you provide a sheet of zinc, a door, or something like that. And I've seen over the years the plight of many persons, indigent persons, who are actually registered as indigent on the poor relief roll of government, because there is a poor relief system that goes around, does the necessary investigations. And if they can't provide an house, they would pay rent, because that is a part of the old indigent program. In 2016, when I became the minister, I sat with the Most Honorable Prime Minister and I spoke with him as to what I believe would have been a program that could at least offer some level of assistance to persons on the indigent roll. And he gave his support. In early 2016, we started with 2 houses in Clarendon. And since then, we have gone beyond 2 houses. We are almost going close now to 150 units that has been constructed or in the process of being concluded in terms of the work that is taking place. And I must tell you something, I have seen it. I have felt the pains, because most of the cases I have gone and have visited the location before. So I do have an appreciation of what existed before, the conditions that existed. And I can tell you it is a sense of being able to do something to afford someone the opportunity of having a proper roof over their heads. And the government since 2016 has given full support to the program. We provide the funds from the Equalization Fund, and that is a source of funding that is in the Ministry of Local Government. And for the last couple of years, we have gotten funds from the Consolidated Fund. And that is why we have been able to improve the housing over the years. So we have moved from 1-bedroom studio to 2 bedrooms. Now we have gone to 3 bedrooms. We are building multi-family units that is catering for many Jamaicans right across the country. So every parish in Jamaica has benefited from the social indigent housing program of the government of Dr. Andrew Holness, and I'm really proud of what we have been able to accomplish and the many lives that we have touched and changed.
I'm happy that you've shed some light on it, and I would have wanted you to delve a little bit more into the program itself, since it was started by your ministry.
Okay, what the program does, as I said before, persons can apply. They are investigated by the poor relief officers. They must have the land to build the units. And once that is done, we now proceed after the investigation to see whether or not the persons are eligible. They meet the criteria which is set up. Because you must be a part of a program that does not allow you on your own. And there are cases where we have provided houses for persons who probably are not that destitute, but because of their circumstances, we have provided for them. Now, the Poor Relief Department of the municipal corporations retain responsibility for the units.
Yes.
So while you occupy those units, the Poor Relief Department does its monthly checking on the units. You are not allowed to do any addition to the units. The units come fully furnished. It is something that when I came up with the idea of furnishing the units, we did it because there are cases where we saw persons have homes, but there is nothing for them to sleep on. So we figured it does make sense to give you a nice room, and then you have to sleep on the cold ground.
Or furnish the
So we provide the necessary furnishing for the unit.
Right.
Now, the unit cannot be rented. It is not for sale. No addition can be done to the unit. And the unit cannot be handed down to family. And we have cases where occupants have died, and the Poor Relief Department retains the unit, and then it is handed over to someone else who is in need.
Absolutely.
So what we do, and we encourage persons to take care of the units. We notice that a lot of all of our units are built from concrete, and it has been done deliberately. One, we notice in the past year, our Indigent program, the previous Indigent program, were mainly board units. And we're not knocking it because it was provided the shelter. But what we notice, there are a number of fires have occurred because a lot of persons go into these units. They have no proper electricity, and fire create havoc within these areas. So what we have done is that we have built concrete structures. It is wired. We encourage the occupants to legitimize their service with the Jamaica Public Service Company, legitimize their service with the National Water Commission. So you are getting, government is providing you with a house. All the government is asking you to do is pay for the light.
Take on the responsibility.
And the water. That's
Absolutely.
personal responsibility.
Yeah.
And I must say that we have seen where persons have responded in a very, very positive way.
Funding is extremely important, Minister, and a lot of times people think that government have all this money. But at the end of the day, how much has been expended? And in terms of future planned spending, can you shed some light on that?
We are close to about 800 million in terms of the program. And we have gotten significant assistance from the Ministry of Finance out of the Consolidated Fund. We are expecting to be spending in this new financial year an additional $350 million to roll out an additional 80 units. And that 80 units will be distributed, as I said before, right across the country. So we have been spending a lot on social housing, and we have also partnered with the Office of the Prime Minister, Economic Growth and Job Creation, where we have had partnership doing, because the Victoria Palms is a joint venture between the Ministry of Economic Growth and the Ministry of Local Government. So there are partnerships that we are developing around the social housing program. And I want to assure the viewers that this government will not renege on its commitment to provide those social housing, because we know there is a need for it.
Hope can bloom even in the most challenging circumstances. In this next feature, we share the transformative experience of one family who benefited from the new social housing program and the positive effect of having a place to call home.
Everybody's ready? We're going to count to 1 million. 1 million. Wow. This is probably the most fulfilling aspect of my job, being able to see lives transform. I mean, if you ever asked about transformation, moving from living in your car to a house, isn't that transformation? Absolutely.
I was suffering, living into my brother's car, by sleeping in there, get up early morning and exit, and going late at night. They also moved my father out when he gave me that letter and asked him with permission to help me to get a house for me and my last daughter. The bigger one, she ended up having to start bouncing around at friends and all kind of people. So it wasn't an easy task for us. So we're very grateful of Minister Andrew Onis, our Prime Minister. We have this project going, and to all the team will make it possible.
Firstly, I would like to say thank you to the mighty God for following through with us, ensuring that everything went by smoothly.
Alright, so you now have a house.
Thank you very much.
And you're going to now make a home.
Definitely.
As inflation continues to remain stable, the annual headline inflation for 2024 was within the targeted 4 to 6% range. But what does this truly signify for the economy? In this report, the Bank of Jamaica analyzes the factors contributing to this positive trend and examines the potential impact on businesses and households.
Hello, I'm Sheena. Thanks for joining me for another episode of Inflation Watch, where Bank of Jamaica highlights the main factors influencing price movements in Jamaica. At October 2024, headline or annual inflation, which is the general rate of increase in the prices of goods and services as measured over a 12-month period by the Statistical Institute of Jamaica, otherwise known as STATIN, was 4.9%. This is great news as it reflected the 7th month during 2024 in which inflation remained within the bank's target range of 4 to 6%. Inflation in October 2024 was primarily driven by increased prices for certain food items, including fruits such as ripe bananas, oranges, pineapples, watermelons, and dried coconuts, as well as higher prices for some starchy foods like Irish potatoes, yams, plantains, and green bananas. Increased taxi fares implemented in October 2023, along with higher rental, water, and sewage rates, also contributed to price increases in October 2024. Inflation at October was lower than the 5.7% recorded at September 2024 and was substantially below the peak of 11.9% 6.8% recorded in April 2022. This lower inflation at October relative to September stemmed from lower prices for vegetables, supported by a slower rate of increase in the cost of restaurants and accommodation services. The reduction in vegetable prices reflected improved supplies following the negative impact of Hurricane Beryl in July. The generally lower inflation at October compared to the peak at April 2022 and several months since then was supported by BOJ's monetary policy. On the 21st of November 2024, the bank announced the Monetary Policy Committee's decision to, number 1, reduce the policy rate by 25 basis points to 6.25% per annum, effective Friday, the 22nd of November 2024. And number 2, preserve relative stability in the foreign exchange market. The decision of the MPC to ease monetary policy further was based on an improvement in the inflation outlook. Now that you are aware of the factors that influenced the inflation outturn at October 2024, my co-host, BJ, will walk you through the process of decision-making by Bank of Jamaica's Monetary Policy Committee.
Good to see you again, BJ. I learned a lot about monetary policy, but I have a question.
You always have a question, Master.
But seriously, BJ, how BOJ decide on monetary policy? Like when to move the policy rate?
Well, the Bank of Jamaica Act, passed in Parliament in 2020, created a Monetary Policy Committee, or MPC. That committee has 5 members, 3 senior people from BOJ and 2 experts in finance and economics appointed from outside the central bank. The BOJ governor is chairman.
Oh, so they decide?
Yes, the MPC meets 8 times a year. Before they meet, they do a detailed review of the economy and monitor inflation to see if it's too high or too low.
So that's how them know when to tighten or ease monetary policy.
That's right. The MPC use the most up-to-date macroeconomic information collected by a highly skilled team of economists at the bank to help in the review.
Macro what?
Macroeconomics. That means information on the entire economy, like inflation rate, employment, growth, and how the different sectors like agriculture, tourism, and manufacturing performing. The MPC use this information to forecast or estimate what inflation will be at least 8 quarters ahead. A quarter is every 3 months. All the time, the MPC study the things that could affect the inflation forecast.
Whew, that sounds like some serious brainstorming.
Yeah, man. Based on the recommendations from the bank's forecast and policy assessment system, a final decision is made to increase, maintain, or reduce the policy rate, or to change other monetary policy tools like liquidity or the cash reserve ratio that we talked about the last time.
That is a lot to take in, BJ.
I know. That's why we keep talking about inflation so that everybody can understand. Later, Marcia.
Thanks, BJ. And that's a wrap for Inflation Watch for October 2024. Join us again next time when Bank of Jamaica will bring you another episode of Inflation Watch, where we track inflation and explore the factors influencing price changes in Jamaica. I'm Sheena. Take care. Join us next month on Inflation Watch to see what the inflation number will be.
This is where our journey ends, but only for today. Do join us again tomorrow when we'll bring another informative program. In the meantime, stay connected via our website, jis.gov.jm. And while you're online, send your feedback to Jamaica Magazine at jis.gov.jm or via X at JIS News. You may also find us on all the major social media platforms and through our mobile app that's Android and iOS compatible. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Major Atkinson. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.